Hello. It's been a long time. I had strep throat for several weeks, and then my voice wasn't working properly. And then I've been catching up on readings from this last week. And, anyways, I'm here. All's well. All's really well. Let's jump in. So, I think first things first. Wow, I've been wanting to do a reading for so long. To do a video, transit reading, whatever you call these. Uh, Already we're exactly 2/3 of the way through Pisces season. And I think that's the big thing to focus on right now is we have Sun, Mercury, Neptune, and Saturn in Pisces. That's a really big deal too. Saturn went into Pisces on the 7th, just a couple days ago. We'll cover that in a moment. That's a whole other thing that really should deserve its own video. But yeah, it's something that we'll continue to explore over the next 2.5 years. So anyways, we'll cover that in just a little bit. But I think the big thing for right now, for this weekend, for the next week and a half or so, is excuse me, this Pisces stellium. A stellium is when there are multiple conjunctions in particular energy. So in short, I think especially because we have Moon in Scorpio for this weekend, this is bringing this out even more so. The main theme for the next week and a half, and especially for this weekend, is being in tune with our subconscious, is exploring what our deepest feelings, our deepest needs, our deepest fears are. Bringing that to the surface, being in tune with our emotions. There's no such thing as a good or bad transit. Certain transits, everybody experiences transits differently. I mean, we're all experiencing there's certain things that we're all experiencing, right? Like we're all experiencing this focus on the subconscious, right? But say somebody who has a particular moon, what came to mind with this is like those who have, for example, an air or fire moon, right? So moon in Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and it could be in the house of one of these things as well, could experience certain challenges here, whereas other people with earth moons, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, or water moons like myself, Cancer, Pisces, I have a moon in the house of Pisces, so I have a double water moon in Scorpio. This whole process, the last 20 days, the next 10 days, especially this weekend, is a lot smoother for those who generally have a more emotional, like, how do I put this, who understand their feelings at a deeper level, right? Again, there's beautiful things about air and fire moons, but air and fire moons tend to delve into the subconscious only when there's something really, really wrong, not so much day-to-day focusing. Whereas for me, with a water moon, earth moons to a lesser extent, but are generally more patient with the subconscious, like, oh, I'm feeling things, okay, what's going on? And again, I don't want to generalize. And again, there's great things about air and fire moons. I'm not picking on them. But I think this is really important for all of us to really explore during this time, because there's so much water energy. The question of how do I process emotion is essential at this time. And really, we can either be really in tune with it and handling all of the challenge. I mean, there's always challenges with energies, but like overcoming them pretty easily, and then embracing the great opportunities here, the great gifts, because there's always gifts as well with every energy. And that comes from being in tune with the emotions. Or we can experience a lot of difficulty during this time. Again, every energy has a challenge. And I think more so the people who are going to be experiencing difficulty at this time are going to be people who have air and or fire moons, right? Especially if an air moon in the house of a fire sign, or in the house of an air sign, or vice versa, fire in the house of an air sign. Essentially, in general, it's always good to keep that in mind. It's like, okay, what am I feeling? How do I? Because the approach of air and fire moons is generally tending to skate over to the subconscious, because it's more fun to not delve into the emotions. Or maybe there was programming from a very young age. Nature versus nurture could be both, right? The environment, the nurture, as well as just the nature of things. Like, no, I just want to focus on the positive. And again, there's great virtues to that. Water, from personal experience, and earth moons can tend to focus too much on introspection or focus too much on the subconscious in a way. It's like at some point you gotta like do things with your emotions and focus on the how do I put this? Not focus on the deepest emotions so much, right? And that's what the air and fire moons have naturally within them, is that tendency to do that, and they bring that to the table for all of us to learn from and to gain from. But yeah, at this time, this is pure water moon territory. I mean, we literally have a water moon for this weekend, but even with all this Pisces, just from personal experience, I think that's why, well, I've also, again, been going through stuff with my throat and whatnot, but I've just been flowing and floating along, and it's been really great. Again, there's always challenges, but overall, it's like, yeah, this is wow, this is great. Wow, it's already 2/3 of the way through Pisces season. And why is that? Because I naturally focus on my emotions every single day. I feel really deeply. I'm exploring, why do I feel this way? What is the cause of this? I really like to explore these things. And that's really what we all need to do. And if we don't do that, then we're just going to feel lost, confused. Even if we want to escape our deepest emotions, again, say like an air or fire, just focusing more on the positive. I don't want to focus on what makes me sad. I don't want, I want to run away from all that. Yeah, well, times like this come along, and it's like, no, you have to focus on that. Just like other times come along that are much more air and fire, and it's like people like myself with earth moons, it's like, no, you need to get out of your emotions, or like focus on the positive. You know what I mean? So again, it's really cool how as the transiting energies continue, we all experience certain transits that kind of influence us majorly to focus on things that we don't otherwise focus on, generally at least. That we don't generally focus on. So yeah, long story short, for everybody, it's really good to focus on subconscious at this time. And if you do so, life, I always like to say, I think the whole point of astrology, of MBTI, of any self-reflective practice is to align ourselves with the subconscious, to make our unconsciousness conscious, and to make life a dream. Because if we don't do these things, fears, worries, unresolved pains, and trauma, they eat us up from within. And then life becomes a nightmare, because then we're running away from things and we don't necessarily know what it is or why, and we're not healed emotionally from it. Yeah, so the time period like this is a real reflective time period to heal and to focus on, if we do that work, sitting with our emotions, really sitting with what we're thinking about, what we're seeking to do with our lives, going deeper. I think especially with this weekend, but again, even over the course of the next week and a half and over the last several weeks, if we do that work, then life just flows, and it's dreamlike, it's beautiful. If we run away from our fears, I think a big thing at this time is addiction. And I have a good friend who's struggling with addiction, and it's because he's not going deeper into his emotions. He's looking at the surface of things, and that's challenging. It's challenging to be treading water and recognize, it's even more challenging if you don't recognize. But if you recognize, like, okay, I'm treading water, but like, why can't I just swim, right? And the key is, you need to, metaphorically speaking, you need to explore what's going on under the water that is causing the storm in the first place, right? Going into the subconscious. And yeah, long story short, I think that this is a really good time to do that. And if we don't do that, I think addiction, escapism, trying to run away from reality, these are the big challenges. And that's a good sign. That's a good indicator, if you're experiencing any of these things, that it's time to go deeper within and to ask serious questions of your feelings. And generally that goes back to your past, of course, to childhood generally, but every step of the way in between, and just trying to understand your own journey. I think why this is important during any time period. It's the time period to do this because of all this water energy. It's a real blessing that we have not only Sun in Pisces, but Mercury in Pisces too. That doesn't happen necessarily every year. It happens often, but doesn't happen every year. And Neptune in Pisces is there. And on the positive side, if we are doing this thing, then there's great spirituality at this time. And I think there's another lesson there, but what was I going to say with that? hold on, we'll just flow. Again, that's the whole point of all this energy. Let's flow to that thing. The other great gift of this time is the incredible spirituality, the incredible sense of being able to trust your subconscious and to feel that alignment with your super consciousness, with the universe, with God, cosmic consciousness, however you want to understand that which is within us and is all around us as well, not only in the shape of all other people on this planet, but the universe, like the infinite universe. When you align with your subconscious, it's so there's a correlation with aligning with the super consciousness of God as well, and it's so interesting that Pisces is known for doing both of these things. It's the last energy of the zodiacal wheel. That's what I was going to say, actually. Nice. Okay. It's setting us up for the next year. Whenever we experience any energy in Pisces, it's the resolution of a previous cycle, and when it enters the realm of space known as Aries, it's the beginning of that next cycle with a bang, So we're 10 days away from in the northern hemisphere of Earth, the spring equinox. And it doesn't matter if you're in northern or southern hemisphere, we're all experiencing the sun in that same region of space known as Aries in 10 days, And bam, it's the beginning of a new year. That's really the new year. Oh man, that's a whole other thing to talk about. Okay, we'll get into that in a moment. It's been a while. A lot of cool stuff has been going on. Well, always, but yeah, major shifts have been occurring. It's very exciting. I gotta wrap up these two other thoughts first, though. Sun in Pisces. Yeah, Sun in Pisces is just it's a reflective time period, and if we don't do the time of reflection, then we're not setting ourselves up really nicely for the next year. And part of that reflection is looking back. Part of it is also looking forward, but it's not moving forward necessarily. And this is a little tricky because we got Venus and Jupiter in Aries, like we talked about before, since December 21st, so just a couple months ago. Jupiter entered the realm of space known as Aries, and like I was saying, it started a new cycle. That's really awesome. That's the beginning of a 12-year cycle. That's major. And then Venus was there. Venus enters. It goes through the full cycle every year, but still, that's a big deal. It started when it came to love relationships. That energy's been there for several weeks now. I can't remember the exact date, but maybe about 2 weeks or so, maybe a little bit more. And then Jupiter's been there again for several months. And these energies are all about moving forward again. I think love life, we have to be super patient at this time, and I'm feeling this myself. There's yeah, anyways, long story, but we have to be very patient, and because new beginnings are happening, right? Or we want new beginnings to happen, or we're feeling things, right? But when it comes to the outside world, we're still in the Mars retrograde post retrograde shadow period, and I'm looking up the date right now because I forget. March 16th. Is that this year? Yeah, exactly. March 16th. So we still have 6 days. Okay, sorry, let me back up. So Venus and Jupiter are like, let's go. Mars and Gemini is also, let's go. In fact, let's have gone yesterday. But Mars is still not quite where it was when it first went retrograde several months ago. This has been a time period, I think, Mars had its pre-shadow period early October, I believe. And then November it went retrograde, and it's been retrograde until mid-January, and now about 2 months later we're still in the post-shadow period. So what does this mean? Taking all of this as a whole, essentially we need to be patient, we need to go with the flow, we need to reflect and resolve, we need to heal, enlighten ourselves, our consciousness as per what's going on in our subconscious, align with our own spiritual power, and to each their own of how exactly they do that is all good. And prepare for the coming year. Have a good idea. And we don't need to ever, figure out everything beforehand. We just need a kind of general sketch of, okay, what do I want to experience over the course of this next year? Because again, the beginning of the year to me, and I think really energetically speaking, to each their own, of course. Everybody has a different understanding of the new year. Not everybody, but you get what I'm saying. Different peoples around the world celebrate the new year at different times. To me, from an astrological point of view, when the sun enters Aries, it's a new year. So we're in the last 10 days of the whole previous cycle, the whole previous year. And it's really essential, again, to make the most of this, because that's where we are. First of all, we can't force things to move forward. Second of all, despite how much we might want to with all these other energies. Sorry, I just want to say, this is why I love doing transit videos too, because it's such a good lesson for me Even though I know I check transits every day and I'm aware of it, it's, talking it out. It's like, oh, you're right. Oh, right. It's just such a good reminder. Like, oh, I need to, again, this is for my benefit as well. It's like, oh, right, I need to not do that, or I need to do that more, or whatever. Anyways, yeah, we got to be patient. We're not there yet. In 10 days, off to the races. Beautiful. And especially because the Mars post-retrograde shadow period will also have resolved in, again, just about 6 days. So I want to back up just a moment with that. So where we are right now with all of this Mars and Gemini energy making its way back to the end of, making its way back to where it started going retrograde in the first place. So we're still in this kind of like resolving things from the past. Part of this also is, again, looking to the future, and like I was saying, having a good sketch of, okay, what do I want to experience over the next year, over the next, again, with Jupiter and Aries, excuse me. Jupiter and Aries over the next 12 years, even. Just a general sketch, excuse me. I've not been getting enough sleep. Don't want to get sick again. Again, patience. Patience is important. That's why I haven't been getting enough sleep. That's, again, long story. But gotta be patient. And we're all struggling with impatience in some regard. In particular, when it comes to love life and moving forward and trying to move things forward. That's the big challenge at this time. But yeah, I think right now it's just get a good understanding. Like, try to get as much information as possible, put the messages out, communication, get stuff going. I'm really excited on a personal level musically. Several things have been going on, but the guitarist I reached out to, who I really want to work with my solo music, in collaboration and making new stuff, as well as interpreting the compositions that I write, got back to me, and a couple days ago, and I was super stoked, and I was not expecting that. Out of everyone, she was the one who I was like, it's probably going to take, I'm probably going to have to be really well known musically for that to happen. So that was cool. That bridge of connection was made, and again, that's the whole point of these energies. And basically, we just were like, yeah, okay, cool. We'll collaborate in the future. Like, so it was a great to touch base, great to meet you, etc. But like, both busy, etc. In the future, we're good. So that's a lot of what's going on. Again, for whatever realm of endeavor in our lives right now, is the communication, the idea. But not necessarily the follow through of the action, because again, I need to record 30 songs that I've been writing for forever, over a decade, a lot of them, most of them, and have the music, and then that stuff is possible, right? It would be nice to collaborate, but really it's like, I really shouldn't collaborate right now. So again, it's all synchronous that it's not quite the right time for her as well, because I really shouldn't, because I need to focus all my time and energy towards this to get it done, etc. So for all of us, I think that this is at play in some major way. Just focus on where you are right now, make the most of it. And I think that too, with the Pisces energy, although it's so easy to go with the flow if we don't let fear get in the way, I think fear, especially combined with the impatience of all the Aries and the Gemini energy, it's very easy to feel stuck, or feel lost, or feel like you're going in circles, or there's something in particular I was going to say. What was it? To try and force things as well. And ultimately, none of that, it's just not the right time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that right now. So just, again, I think in short, be patient, go with the flow, connect with your subconscious, ask the deeper questions of, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? How do I channel this river of emotion in a more positive way, right? Like what's a good, okay, I'm reaching a dam here, and it's not flowing, right? Okay, let's go around the dam. Let's create a new path through the woods of the emotion, right? Of the subconscious, or of the consciousness, even of our hearts, right? Let's make a new river, because this isn't working, right? That's what this time period is all about. And I think this weekend especially, we can go really deep. I probably should have said that at the very beginning. But we can go really deep because the moon is in Scorpio, which is really helpful to be able to focus all this Pisces energy, because Pisces energy can be a little bit scattered, like all mutable energy. From personal experience, having a moon in the house of Pisces and being a Gemini with Mercury, Gemini, mutable, just especially Pisces and Gemini, they flow everywhere, which is awesome. But sometimes we need that kind of like, okay, like what's going on? Focus, fixed energy. And Scorpio is that energy for Pisces in so many ways. So enjoy this weekend. Enjoy. Update on the book. I am super close to finishing it. I'm very excited. God, it's been forever. It's been a long time, but it's not, it's in God's time. It's not any of our individual times. And again, we gotta be patient with all these energies. When it's the right time, it's the right time. But yeah, I'm probably again, I'm just going with the flow, and there's been so much music happening, and I can't force myself, as otherwise the book wouldn't turn out right. So the book has been such a labor of love, and has flowed up into this point. So I know it's close, but I don't want to put a strict timetable. But we're looking at probably, I think, within the next month. I have about like 17,000 words to edit, and then maybe another like 4,000 words to like do a final edit. But honestly, like, we're nearing the end of it. I'm nearing the end of the editing process. So yeah, I would say about a month, and I'll do updates. I'll do a official video for the launch of it. But I'm very, very excited. And I know that my channel I haven't done a lot of new series lately, because I was waiting on the book, because it sounds a lot better to say, oh, also I have, at the end of the video, also I have a book available if you would like to go deeper, if you like to explore this stuff, etc. Then instead of like, oh, there's a book coming, but I don't know if it's here yet, I don't know, check the link. It's like, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. Like, I've had so much other stuff to focus on, and I want to do the series right. But yeah, I have a whole list of things I'm going to be doing. Finishing the 3 great things about each sun sign. We're going to focus on 3 signs that a particular moon sign likes you. Of course, we're going to do that for every single energy for all these series. 3 signs a rising sign likes you. I know, it's love. Like, we all love that stuff. As part of why I got into astrology so much, is to explore connection and capability or compatibility, etc. Let's see, a biggest challenge, and those are going to be shorter, maybe like 5 minutes long. Well, I say that's probably going to be like 10 minutes. But like, biggest challenge for each sun sign, for each moon sign, biggest challenge for each rising sign, biggest challenge, 3 great things about each rising energy, 3 great things about each moon energy. And please, if you have any suggestions, let me know, because once this book is there, I've been working on writing for 3.5 years now, and I wrote, again, the astrological natal chart placements series. Really, it's like 3 volumes of an encyclopedia, which that's my next writing project. Once I finish this, I'm going to be finishing those 3 books, which, again, like, just those who did the pre-order, you are saints, you are angels for being so patient, and just, it's amazing. Even for this first book, Infinite Love, How to Grow Our Self-Awareness, you've just been pure angels. Thank you for those who've pre-ordered it. I admire your patience and your compassion, but it's going to be worth it. And again, the first thing is almost done, and it's getting easier to edit as time goes on, because I've edited like 80,000 words, and more, actually, more than that. But anyways, so that's going to be coming. But yeah, once that first book is done within the next month, I'm going to be just rolling out a lot of series. So any suggestions that you have that you would like to see, let me know. And it always cracks me up. If you want a really, 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 really specific thing of like, what is Venus and Libra opposite Mars and Aries, like, just come get a reading. I'm not going to do a video on that. People crack me up. I'm not trying to be, nitpicky, but it's like, come on. Like, that is, like, how many people does that apply to? No. We're talking general stuff. We're talking the stuff that, can help a lot of different people. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll do. No, I won't. Maybe 20 years from now or something. But even then, it's like, I don't know. Maybe 20 years from now. But yeah, we're talking the general stuff. And feel free to suggest whatever. I mean, there's no such thing as a bad suggestion. I'm just letting you know, if it's super, super specific, it's probably not going to become a series or a video. That being said, I do want to do, within the next couple years, like maybe within the next 3 years, I do want to do like the sun and moon combos, rising and sun combos, rising moon combos. There's a lot of cool stuff that we could go into with that. So that's something that's on the radar. I really want to finish the sun sign compatibility as well, for each of the different sun signs. That's going to be a little bit later. Maybe that's later this year, maybe early next year. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just going to be rolling out with videos, because I don't know. It's just, in my mind, I just like felt like I needed to get that book done first. So I'm very excited. So any suggestions you have, please let me know. This has been a super long video. Thank you for hanging out until the very end. I really appreciate your patience. Oh my god, we didn't even cover Saturn and Pisces. We'll cover it for the next video. I think, long story short, it's helping us to go deeper and focus when it comes to our emotions. Oh my god, in major ways. I think with it too, excuse me, really focusing on going with the flow and not trying to control everything, while also having a serious intention to grow, to find a good direction with our emotions. That too, that's essential as well. So go with the flow, but don't lose your principles, don't lose your sense of self, don't lose your sense of direction, of what feels right on a truly uplifting, spiritual, emotional level. I just want to say, like, don't lose your sense of self. That's interesting, because part of Pisces energy is letting go of the ego, of the individual self. But there's truth, though, to that too, is we all have egos. That's part of being human. It's fun. It's exciting. Like, oh, I'm me, you're you, they're they. It's and we are we. Like, it's an exciting. We can't take it away from our experience as human beings, and we're not. I don't really think we're meant to. Spiritual teachings that teach us to deny the ego completely, like throughout our entire lives, I've always found to be kind of disingenuous and not very helpful, because we have our egos. That being said, there's a great wisdom in that, as well as it's interesting finding selflessness, but also knowing self. I think that's the excuse me. That's the two themes here that over the next 2.5 years is going to continue to be explored and experienced. And that's our challenge. It's like, okay, how do I let go of control? How do I let go of clinging to self? Excuse me. Clinging to self. But also, how do I have a strong individual path as a strong individual person? And there is no one answer for that. And it's different for each one of us, and we're navigating between these kind of polarities. So anyways, we'll go into that in depth for the next video. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste. As always, doing readings, info in the description, book a reading with me. I still am quite busy for the next week and a half, but it's a great time to get a reading. That's interesting too, because that's good timing with the start of just about a week and a half from now, when the sun goes into Aries. I do have some availability, and it's a really great time to be consciously focused on everything we were talking about, of okay, looking back, resolving, as well as looking forward, and okay, what are we going to be experiencing for this next year? The new year is just 10 days away, 9.5 days away. Peace.